Just when you think you've hit rock bottom, this Badgers program comes out and surprises you again. Let's talk about it, Locked On Badgers.
You are Locked On Badgers, your daily podcast on the Wisconsin Badgers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is going on, Badger fans? Welcome to Locked On Badgers, your team every single day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Coming to you live, Madison, Wisconsin, from Camp Randall. We got Justin and Rajiv here. We got Mike on the mic behind the scene. I always appreciate him. Guys, this was rough. Today's episode is not going to be certainly my favorite one of all time. It is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, $5 will get you $300 in bonus bets on FanDuel. Download the app today. Let's get into it. The good, bad, the ugly. I'm going to start with the good.
Oh, God.
I'm good.
This is one thing.
The good is the community, because we got Rajiv here. Again, we're trying to kind of make this work. My normal recording spot in here isn't working very well today. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this community. We had our Locked On event this weekend, guys. And it's the only good I'm going to highlight.
Yeah.
That's the only good.
Yeah.
But we had an incredible tailgate spot hosted by Joe. His son Beckham was there. Got to meet a ton of people, which I'm almost going to do a separate show because I'm going to forget names if I try to do it right now. Yeah. But we got out Friday, got to see people.
It's fantastic. It's really what makes this fun. Like, coming to Madison to watch us lose 37-0 might be one of the most saddest experiences ever. However, getting to hang out with all these great people and do the things that we've gotten to do and see the people we've gotten to see, it's fantastic. So of all of you that are listening to this and we got a chance to meet you, thank you to all the community, because this, even if you listening right now, it builds that community and it makes it so great for us. And as bad as this is, that's what's special. So that's 100% the good.
Yeah, I appreciate everyone that we got to hang out with this weekend, everyone that listens to the shows and everything else. You guys have been amazing. We're all in this together. I do actually have one positive from this, and I thought that was Dylan Jones today. I actually thought that he ran hard. I thought that he ran physical. This was the best game we've seen from him at Wisconsin, minus the mop-up duty game that he had last year where he had 80 yards or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Other than that, that's the lone bright spot that I had from this game.
And let's make sure, guys, we talk into here too, because we have a kind of a weird setup here. So hopefully, guys, let us know if the audio, video, if it's working, if we need to talk louder, whatever it is. We haven't played this in a while. We're going to play this.
Hey, Doc, I need to talk about it. My head is going to explode. What the heck just happened? It's the therapy session on Locked On Badgers.
I'll kick it to you, Rajiv. Were there any positives for you?
I will say that, like, Dylan Jones, I think, did run hard. I think that at times it looked like maybe we could get things going. There were a couple good passes.
The one to Lance Mason down the sideline.
The deep one to Ballard. I think the one with Lance Mason on the sideline. There were a couple little tiny nuggets of success. But honestly, no.
Yeah.
There's nothing good about any of this. No. This is horrific. So no, there's nothing else. I don't want to say anything else good about what's going on, because this is just unacceptable. And it's the worst possible scenario. All we keep talking about is hitting rock bottom. And then it just keeps getting lower. Unacceptable. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, there's no positives for me outside of the community. I'll tell you this. This is an anecdote from this game. This happened in this game, Badger fans. This happened 2 rows behind us. There was a kid. He was like, I don't know, probably 9, 8. He was super into it. By the third quarter, he was cheering for the Hawkeyes. Like, this happened in this game. We lost a kid to the Iowa Hawkeyes because of how poorly we played. Yep. And I think by the end of the game, he switched back again. Fickle child.
Yeah.
Well,
that's not shocking.
But, like, that's how bad this was. And the other thing I'll highlight is I was trying to figure out, like, where to kind of go with the show. And I was taking notes on this team. This team is joyless. Yeah. It has become a chore to watch Badger football for me. And I love this program, but it has become tedious. Yeah. It has become a chore for me to watch, like a job now.
After the first half, I was honestly sitting there being like, if we didn't have to do a show, I want to kind of get someplace warm and watch the Brewer game and see just how that plays out. It was bad. I will put it this way. This is one of the things that was pointed out to me while we were watching the game. During the jump around, there was not one Badger player that was jumping around at all. 0. And I understand why, but I think that tells you the level of enthusiasm and the level of like energy that's in the program right now. It's just bad. Nobody feels good about this. Nobody feels positive about where things are going, and I think that that's a problem. I want to bring up a comparison to this because we've watched it the last couple of weeks. UCLA fired their coach, and in 2 weeks they look significantly better than anything that we put on the field this year in terms of what they've had. And the level of progression and energy that's been affiliated with them is something that we have not seen this season at all. And I'm not saying that they're doing it right and we're doing it wrong, but I'm just saying that that is the expectation when you make a change, is that you see that level of energy and progression happen within your team that they've clearly already shown and that we've shown at no time during this tenure.
How did it get worse from 42-10 last year in Kinnick? Rajiv, I'm going to kick this one to you because I actually am really curious on this. This whole offseason was built around, like, not just Iowa. That's silly, but a big part of it was we do 42 push-ups because of Iowa, because they trampled us in their house. How did it get worse?
Yeah, it's and how did it get worse? It's just the biggest question of the day. And I'll tell you what, there's no fight. Like, that's one of the things that I even saw. Like, even last week against Michigan, there was fight. There was at least something. There was no fight in this team. And how it got worse is we continue to have injuries. We continue to have, frankly, really poor coaching. We continue to have no real direction as to what's going on with the program and is there anything to hold on to. There's never been anything for anyone to actually hold on to and grow from and build upon. Yeah. And if you don't, and we thought we saw something to build upon against Michigan. But if there's nothing to build upon, there's no excitement, then you're getting bad efforts. I mean, Luke Fickell, before the season started, talked about having this team fight after they lost to the Penn State, and that having those 5 straight losses, and how they respond. They haven't responded at all. All they did was had one of their sort of better performances of the season against Michigan, and instead you came out and you had a worse game than last year, the worst loss I think we've ever had. How many times have I said that? The worst loss we've ever had. Like, there is nothing. It got worse because this coaching staff is not getting any better. That's what it is, and they've got to be done. It's got to be the end.
Yeah, this is legitimately the worst game I think we've seen since the 59-0 drubbing that happened under Gary Anderson. We looked listless in this game, and I don't know, like, at some point, if there's no energy affiliated with your team, like the players, we've talked about fan apathy before. The players seem apathetic in what we saw tonight when we were at the game, just watching the sidelines and stuff like that. It was a rough game looking at it strictly from that standpoint and being like, there's nobody that really seems hyped up to be here. These guys look like they want to just go home, and they just want the game to be over with.
I think it's well said. Yeah, like I want to just talk to what Justin just said with the energy level. And I don't know if you were, Rajiv, I don't know if you were there when they were coming back out after halftime. I was pointing to the big screen. You can see that the team's coming in, right? Because they showed and I'm telling you, they look dead. Yeah. They look dead coming into the tunnel. Now, you shouldn't look excited coming up when you're down 23-0 after, but maybe you should. Yeah. Like, maybe you should be like, all right, look, we got to go out and fight. And do they look dead? Nothing. There was nothing. There was no juice on the sideline. It was so listless that at one point Eugene Hilton was going down the sideline, like high-fiving people, trying to get them going. But it stood out because it didn't feel like anybody else was doing that. It was like an anomaly.
And it almost felt like people didn't want him, like, bothering them. Like, they're just kind of like, all right, yeah, whatever, dude. And I can appreciate him wanting to provide that energy and try to give a spark to things. But, man, it was really hard to watch today.
Rajiv, any last thoughts before we take our first break here?
No, I mean, I'm just sad. And I think I just want to say that, like, I understand how a lot of Badger fans feel right now. This is the most sad that I think I've ever been. And we care about this program and we love this program. And I saw so many people on this trip, and everyone is still excited about maybe we can get this win. I'm just tired of the sadness, man. Mm-hmm. I'm tired of constantly, like, wishing for more, hoping for more, and getting absolutely nothing in return from this program. And here's where we are. We're sitting here at Camp Randall in an empty stadium. By the way, it was empty after the jump around.
Student section had literally probably 100 kids.
And you know what? Give us something to cheer about. But there's nothing. There's no fight. There's no energy from the coaches. The coaches are doing this team a disservice and all the fans a disservice.
All right, we're going to take a break here. Congratulations, Brewers fans. Rajiv, that's not a knock on you at all. I just know a lot of Brewers fans watch this. Congratulations, Brewers fans. We're going to take a quick second, then we're going to get your comments next. So we have 44 starred comments. We're going to kind of break them up. We'll do one for Justin, me, Rajiv, so we can get through some of those because that's what the show is. It's community therapy session, right, for all of us. So we're going to do that next on Locked On Badgers. First, we do need to take a quick second for our incredible friends of the show over at SupplyHouse. Listen, if you're building a big project, you're doing something where you need to get electrical equipment, you need to get HVAC, plumbing. Maybe it's I shouldn't say program rebuild. I was almost going to make some type of analogy there. But if you are going to, any type of building project, SupplyHouse has you covered. Over 280,000 plumbing, HVAC, electrical items from the most trusted brands in the business. If you need parts fast, SupplyHouse has next day delivery, which is a total game changer, plus a 3D schematic part finder tool that can save you hours on every job, and hours matter so much in life. Join the free Trade Master program today. Serious perks like priority shipping, lower prices, dedicated support line. Visit supplyhouse.com. Sign up for free and use promo code SHCollege for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Real people, real science. Today's episode also brought to you by the incredible sponsors over at FanDuel. Rajiv, I'm going to kick this to you a little bit. What is your favorite part about FanDuel?
Everything that you can do and really the complexity of FanDuel. And it's like people don't even have to be good at it to really understand it. There's just so many options, right? My favorite thing to do, player props. You couple those with teasers. You don't like the point spread, you want to buy it one way or the other, you can tease the point spread. It's perfect. In-game is the key, by the way. I love that stuff. When the game's going on, you're thinking, okay, I like what this team is doing. Let me hedge my bet here a little bit, or maybe bet on something else, or maybe you can do player props. There's just so many options with FanDuel, and it's easy, it's simple. You can do it right from your phone, and there's no better way to make that money gambling.
And right now, first-time customers bet $5. If you win, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Go to FanDuel.com, download the app, get started. FanDuel.com, the official sportsbook of the Locked On Podcast Network. All right, let's get into this. Your comments next. Your thoughts, your comments, raw emotions. Let's get into them. Justin, you're going to take this first one here. Let's see. Remember when we were going to compete for national championships?
I mean, it could happen still at some point. It's not happening with this coaching staff. I don't know what to tell you at this point. There's clearly, there's more talent on this roster than what we're seeing play out in each game. I'm not saying that this is a good team that is masquerading as a bad team. I'm saying that there's more talent than what we're seeing in these games. It looks rough. It looks like people aren't motivated. And I'm not saying the players are lazy. I'm saying that it looks like there's a lack of motivation and guys are really truly locked in on what we're trying to do here. And it's been tough these last few. I'm not gonna sugarcoat or rely on it. There are some massive things that need to shift in order to get the program to where it needs to be.
I'll take this next one. It's over from Herb. The Fickle regime is done. Oh,
I don't know how you can say anything.
I hate these. I hate this question because I really, this could be. I don't know how you find the road out of this. Is where I'm at. I'm really struggling. I don't see. We're bad at everything. We had a penalty before the game. We're not disciplined. We had terrible turnovers again. The offensive line didn't open holes. Our run defense was gashed to some degree. I think it could be. And I don't like saying that, but at some point you're not getting better, you're getting worse. And you could be stacking damage into this program that's going to be harder to pull out of. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a very fair comment from Herb. I wanted to hit you with this one, Rajiv. Is there any optimism? Ryan says, okay, Rajiv, let's hear the pie in the sky optimism.
Down the street at the Kohl Center, that's the optimism. Yeah. It's not here at Camp Randall Stadium. It's not. There's nothing like we turned the ball over 3 times in almost the first
inside
quarter.
35.
And all in plus territory with Iowa. You're giving them points. We do nothing well, like you said. I mean, special teams continues issues there. Everywhere you look, it's issues. And the program is going in the wrong direction. There is no room for optimism. And to your point where you just made, Ryan, I think it is over, and I'm absolutely done because the damage is the hole's being dug deeper. Yeah. There's nothing good coming out of this. You need to click reset. You need a fresh start at this point and yes, it's going to cost money. It's going to cost money either way. It's going to cost money if you don't do it. It's going to cost money if you do it. Either way, you've got to get out of this situation and hit the reset button. Because if you don't, how much further down can this program go? We are unequivocally and undeniably the worst team in the conference. A conference that had a laughingstock in UCLA, but now they've all of a sudden had 2 big wins. Northwestern just won on the road at Penn State. Purdue, last I checked, I don't know the final score, someone help me, was beating Minnesota. What the heck is happening to our team? We lose 37-0.
Yeah,
no, zero optimism. You want optimism? It's Greg Gard. That's optimism.
Greg Gard's on black hole. Hold on. We got to move next. We got to chop these up. This is your question, though. Andrew asks, in-season firing. Or do you want Fickell to finish the season?
So here's my issue with this. I don't know what it fixes by cutting him loose at this point in time. I just don't know who on the roster that you have take over that you feel like there's going to be a bump from. I don't see anything. There's nothing that I look at on this and be like, well, this is a coach that might be able to get some energy going within the group if you take him out. So if you end up cutting him loose, it's like, what do you gain from it? Now, there are other circumstances where you could look at it and see if he's a net negative in terms of his impact on like, it's just a toxic environment. Yeah. And in those situations, I think absolutely you consider it. I just don't know what you expect to see if you cut him loose other than like just a strictly anger move. Unless there is the situation where you have somebody that you're actively looking at, that you're trying to make it clear, this is happening, we're going to hire you when the offseason hits. And that's your way of buying into them or getting them to understand, hey, we want to make a deal.
I'll take this one. Ryan says Ohio State 77-0 next weekend. The scary part with this is I was thinking about this in the game, and I just felt like there's nothing left this season. Ohio State's going to destroy us. Oregon's going to destroy us. Indiana's going to destroy us. I don't know what to even root for or look forward to. So, yes, Ohio State they're going to name their score. And maybe they don't beat us 77-0 because they feel bad for us. But, dude, they're going to name their score, and it absolutely stinks. Rajiv, your turn. John Burns also wants to talk about McIntosh.
Yeah, listen, I absolutely think that if and when Fickell is gone, I think McIntosh is to the point where he has to kind of go with him because they're tied together. And let me ask you this, Badger fans out there. Since Chris McIntosh took over as the athletic department, as a director, what has gotten better? What has actually improved in the athletic department? Greg Gard has done really well, but he was here pre McIntosh. Now you can maybe point at a new hire in women's basketball. Maybe you can point at something with men's hockey, but ultimately he hasn't made a lot of improvements. All we're seeing is regression in the biggest sport that this school has. We're looking down at this amazing stadium, and there's nothing. There's no life here. If it's not going to work here, you made the wrong hire. It was a good swing. He took the swing, and I understand why he took that swing. But he's got to be on the hook for it. And I think we got to start from completely from scratch at this point.
Yeah, I want to dovetail on that a little bit because I look at it similarly to you, and my aspect of looking at it is simple. I don't know what you see from him that says that this is going to get better from a program standpoint. Like, what have we seen from a fundraising and whatnot standpoint to get to where we're at? The fact that we have to look at this and simply say we're afraid of a buyout with our AD is a problem to me, because that should, if you're serious about football in the Big Ten, and I think Wisconsin likes to say that they are, but if you're serious about this, you can't balk at this. Like, if it's a wrong hire and you know it's doing damage to your football team and athletic department, you have to look at that in the most like critical way possible and say, this isn't working. I need to make the move that's going to put us back in a positive situation. We're not there right now, and the idea that it's maddening to me that the idea is that we might consider dragging it into next year before this game. I don't think that it will now, but I look at it from that standpoint and say, if that's the way you're legitimately thinking about this, you're minor leagues. Like, you're not serious about this.
Yeah, I mean, buyout's a good question. We got to take a pause there. We'll get more of your questions coming up next. Honestly, it's just the vibe, like all three of us here, it's just sad.
Yeah.
Because we don't do this to objectively cover a team. We do it because we're fans, and we like talking about it, and it's fun to be good, and we just stink, and it sucks, man. All right, we'll take a quick break here. More of your comments coming up next, plus maybe a really quick where do we go from here type of a thought. Today's Locked On Badgers. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. Today's episode, again, thank you for tuning in so much. Today's episode is also brought to you by our great friends over at Mazda. Mazda crafts cars for those who do more than simply move. Again, sometimes you got to do more than just get from point A to point B. You want to get there with a little bit of nice leather upholstery with all-wheel drive safety for standard on all crossover models. You get that all-wheel drive safety feature, which I live in northern Wisconsin. It's a big deal. Mazda has you covered with style, comfort, luxury. Mazda, again, doing more than just moving you from point A to point B. They're moving you with a purpose, and they're moving you with some luxury and some safety and just an unbelievable ride. If you've ever been in a Mazda, you know what I'm talking about. Right now, like every single player, Mazda sweats every detail, because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. Mazda move and be moved. All right, let's get back into this. We'll throw a couple more comments up here, and we'll just kind of riff at the end, like what do we think comes up next? Let me grab our comments again. I mean, this is a good question here, Nathan Hammond, and this is something I've talked about before. How I almost want to make this broader. So the question is, how did all the people covering this team get it wrong? I almost want to ask this question to both you guys. But also, how did this get so bad in front of our eyes without us realizing it? And I don't know if there's a great answer for that.
I have a perspective on this, and I will say one of the things that I thought of Fickle when he first came in is I thought that he was very introspective and reflective with the way he spoke about things, and it seemed like he had an understanding of what the issues were. And I think the issue that we're seeing with this is just because somebody understands what the problems are does not necessarily mean that they understand the answers to those problems. And I think that that's what we ran into. There are situations that we saw with this since he's been here where it looks like he understands the problem and is trying to address them, but we've never once seen it look like it's ever been truly fixed. And I think that that's a problem in implementation and understanding how to actually problem solve. And that, to me, legitimately is ultimately been his undoing, is not truly understanding what do we need to get to be to the place where we want to actually go.
What do you think, Rajiv?
There's when it comes to this kind of stuff, like we lost our identity as a program. We lost our culture, what we are. And I think we, as people who covered it, I think anyone who's a fan, I think undersold the impact that would really have. We were excited about changing things up with Phil Longo and even to an extent Jeff Grimes. But at the end of the day, what got ripped out of this program was almost its soul. And that's kind of what it feels like. The soul and the toughness, like the grit, what we were is gone. And I think that myself very much included, we kind of just overestimated we underestimated the impact that was really going to have. And it's absolutely critical. This program is directionless now. We don't have anything. So that's why it's failed, because the soul has been ripped out. And that's, again, why you've got to start fresh, start from scratch and redo everything. Like the things that we're watching, the turnovers, the bad special teams plays, the untimely, ridiculous penalties pre-game. When was the last time you saw a pre-game penalty, anybody? What the hell was that? I didn't even know what was going on with that. Like, why are we're still talking about the same things? Because as Justin pointed out, he's not fixing it. He's not making the changes. There's no identity. And honestly, like, we are flying blind. This entire program is flying blind, and we all had the wool pulled over our eyes because we believed in what he did at Cincinnati. I believed in what he did at Cincinnati, and I believed that he was going to be able to make that happen here. And if you look at every individual hire in one little small thing, you say, okay, that makes sense. I understand why you made that hire. I understand. And they're small things that got fixed. D-line, a little bit better, not necessarily today, but small improvements is not an entire program. And you need to build it from the beginning, and you need to figure out what it is, how you're going to build it and go. But everything that we thought he could do has been completely false. And man, were we wrong. And I just think everyone over really estimated what it was going to be. But if you take the culture and you take that thing out of it, you have nothing left.
That is really well said. Let me add this on here. Barry Alvarez is right in a sense. I don't think he was right in this context of saying fans shouldn't boo because we're spoiled. But he was right. We were spoiled. Yeah. We were so spoiled. And we got so spoiled that we thought we could do anything. We thought Wisconsin could change identity, hire an air raid guy, do whatever. And no, Wisconsin maybe can't. Maybe you have to understand what you are a little bit more. And again, that's speaking to exactly what you said. We were spoiled. Yep. And I don't think we appreciated how hard it is to win 7 or 8 games every year. Right? We didn't appreciate it.
Yeah. The floor dropped out, and we never thought the floor was going to drop
Well,
out.
what I'll say to this is Wisconsin is not the first program that has brought in a well-regarded coach who just failed. We've seen it happen time and time again at major programs, and it's really hard to pin down what specifically is the situation with it. I personally think there's a difference when people talk about who's a program builder and who's a guy who is capable of coming in and working with what's there. I think Wisconsin is clearly in a spot where you need a program builder. You need somebody to instill a level of mental fortitude and toughness and developmental aspect of this. And I think some of that got lost with what we were doing under Fickle. Like I low-key, one of the areas that was a massive disappointment was player development. We can honestly count on probably one hand how many players we can say this guy is considerably better than the day he walked in. And that is a massive problem.
Let me hit a couple of these really quick because we're not going to be able to get to every comment. Obviously, we appreciate you guys so much. They're going to kick us out of here at some point, probably. I want to hit this because I thought this was a really good comment. I lost it. I apologize. Here you go. From Daniel. He says, I apologize to everyone on here. I thought you were too hard on the Badgers last week. You were right. Fickle has to go right now. The reason I brought this up, guys, is I do want to highlight, like, don't apologize. We're all in the same time. We all want the same thing. Like, we all want this program to be great. And that's what this community is about. Like, we're all wanting the same thing. So don't apologize for this or don't apologize for a bad take. Like, those happen. I just want to emphasize, like, the community, we all do want the same thing, which is just good Badgers football, which is it is not right now. I want to throw this in there. Slim Lewis, first home shutout in 45 years.
Oh, my gosh.
Justin, we are breaking records.
What a disaster. I didn't even realize that. Slim Lewis, thank you for putting that out there. I did not know that. Obviously, a shutout like this and losing so badly. Like, we thought the Maryland game was bad. Then the Michigan game was like, okay, well, maybe something a little bit. No, this is about as bad as it gets. Like, we're doing things we've never done. We're talking about everything we talk about is the worst that's ever happened. Like, how is this even a lie? How are we still doing this?
So the point I will make on this with what we're talking about is the thing that makes it even more maddening is the fact that this is the game that they had circled and that they were building towards their culture towards for this season, that you were working your butts off to get to the point where you were going to be able to compete against Iowa because of what happened last year. And this is where you are. Like, you clearly, none of it mattered. It didn't take. There's a extreme lack of, and when I said toughness earlier, I think players are physically tough. There's a level of mental fortitude within this team that is broken right now that needs to be rediscovered. And you need to have somebody who instills that level of discipline and accountability within your players to say, you're going to get it done or you're not going to play. And I think that that's kind of one of the things that you need to deal with is, like, the guys like Signetti that we've talked about before and stuff like that are guys who go out there and they're like, you're going to do it my way or you're not going to do it. Like, you're not playing if you don't do it the way I want you to do it. And he will sit there and he'll kick guys off his roster. Like, he'll clear guys out. It's one of the things that I can look at with the way he did things and, completely respect, because you look at it and you say, well, this sucks. He's kicking kids off his team. But you look at it and you also say, well, he has a vision of what he wants to do. And if people don't fit that, it's totally within his right to say, you're not here. You don't fit what I'm trying to do. And that's what Wisconsin kind of needs to do. You need to figure out who the right person is for this program. And they need to come in and say, who's going to fit what they want to do and who's not. And they need to get rid of them who doesn't fit. And I say that hoping that these kids all find another place to play, but they need to be able to say, this isn't working. You got to go someplace else because you don't fit what I'm trying to do going forward. And you can't be a nice guy with this. There's too much money at stake. There's too much focused within the program on being successful to play nice. You just can't. The teams that do that are the teams that lose.
Guys, last time Iowa shut out Wisconsin was in the 20s. So we're continuing.
100 years. All right. Nice work.
Yeah, we're continuing to break records here. Let me ask you guys this, and just yes or no, is there any way Luke Fickell can survive this?
No.
Is there any path forward?
No, absolutely not. There is no path forward. We are going to – listen, we all know what's going to happen in the next 2 weeks. We're playing Ohio State and Oregon. We all know what's going to happen. We're going to be 0-5 in the Big Ten Conference heading into our second bye week. 0-5 in the Big Ten. Northwestern, UCLA, Purdue, all these schools are going to have a win by then. What in the world are we doing? No, he can't survive this. It's already gone too far. I don't care if he wins. He's not going to win. He might win one more game the rest of the year. For me, there's only one game left, and it's the Axe. I want the Axe. I would love that. That would be a great to walk away with that. He can leave that as his lasting legacy because as far as I'm concerned, his time is done. He needs to leave. What I want to see right now is this week, Chris McIntosh, the administration, be introspective and figure out what's actually going on. Like Justin pointed out earlier, I think you made a good point, Justin, about how like if things are toxic, you have to cut it now. I don't really like the midseason firing, but if anyone deserves a midseason firing, it's Luke Fickell because we're nowhere and we're only going in one direction. If there's any kind of toxicity, I think you have to cut it, but that needs to happen. Even if you decide you're not going to do it, the discussion has to happen. The investigation has to happen. You need to really look at this program and decide where it is and where it's going, even this season. Because how much money and how many players, how many recruits? By the way, there are recruits here tonight. What do you think they thought about this? So no, absolutely no way back for Luke Fickell. I am done.
Can I say one more thing quick? Wisconsin is averaging 6.7 points per game in Big Ten play this year. That number may go down in the next 2 weeks. 6.7, you may under a touchdown, and you may go down over the next 2 games because of the fact that you're playing Ohio State and Oregon.
Yeah, this is probably, guys, the first time I'm actually going to come on and say I don't think there's a way he can survive this. And people watch the show get on me because they think I'm way too patient and I'm too positive. And I'm going to use a term. It's called radical candor. And sometimes you have to just be honest with the process, and you just have to really take a look and say, it doesn't matter how I feel about some of these people. Personally, there's a lot of people in this program I really like, and that's hard for me. I'm going to just be straight up with you guys watching the show. There's people I built relationships with that I really personally like. But radical candor, this thing is not working right now, and it's getting worse. And there is a point where the sooner you pivot from something that's not working, the clearer your water is going to be. So I don't think he can survive this either. That doesn't mean I think he's gone this year. I don't think he's gone this year because I don't think there's anybody on the staff that, to me, makes sense to step in. I don't think it would make it better. That's just me. And then the administration can say we gave him 3 years. They can say, at the end of this, we tried and it didn't work and it didn't get better. So I don't think he's gone. But I don't know if we win another game, gentlemen. And if that's the case, you finish 2-10 with losses like this. It's not just 2-10. It's 2-10 with a 37-0 loss, a 27-10 loss to Maryland. And guys, let me one more take. Now I'm sorry. And then this is my last one, I promise, and we'll finish up the show. It feels like even over the course of 3 years, this has regressed. Over the course in season, this has regressed. Yeah. We've gone from playing okay and obviously not great competition, but the Maryland and this game, this is the worst game we've had this year.
Yeah.
We're getting worse actively in season.
And how many times does he say, you got to get better every week. We got to be playing our best football at the end of the year. Your biggest growth has to be from week 1 to 2, and then from 2 to 3 and 3 to 4. The growth is nowhere. It's regressing. Everything is regressing, which is why, honestly, I hate the midseason stuff, but maybe you need to reset. Maybe you need to maybe I can inject some energy and life into the program. I don't know, but nothing is doing this. And how can we regress? Can it go worse? Can we get worse now? Are we going to get any better? Is there anything that's going to take a step up at any point? That's the big question.
Yeah. Last thoughts, guys. We're at 33 minutes. I know people are cleaning here, so we can't stay too long. Justin, last thoughts.
It's a tough one, guys. Glad the Brewers gave us something to smile about tonight. But honestly, the better days will be ahead. This program will not stay down forever. We will eventually get things figured out and get things right. But understand that, we're going through the pain. It will help us appreciate when things do get better. And we'll be far happier knowing, this is what it feels like to be winning again.
Gee, final thoughts, my friend.
Basketball season's coming. Let's get excited about that. Thank you again to the people that we saw. So many people just came up to us or came to our tailgate, and that is the one bright spot about this entire weekend. I just want to say thank you so much. And to all of you who watch the show and contribute to the community, thank you. It's a tough time to be a Badger football fan. As Justin said, times will get better. It's not going to happen this year. It's probably not going to happen next year. You're going to have to live through it for a while. But I really hope we can see this program turn around because right now it's about as bad as it's ever going to get.
I think 2 quick thoughts. I'm going to echo what Rajiv said. Incredible people in this community. We got to see so many people this weekend, and it is humbling beyond anything to have people come up and talk to you and say, I watched the show and I really like it, and we're part of this community. Massive thanks to Joe again for hosting a tailgate for us, putting it together. Nick and Tracy for running logistics when we have to ship venues. For everyone else in the community, Caroline, Badgerman, we got to meet their incredible daughter. Curtis was there. Zach Bartz is always incredible. Kyle and Adam and so many. I'm missing them. Yeah, everyone else. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Please, if you're in the chat, say thank you to Mike. Mike is behind the scenes every live show. He's running comments. These live shows are better because of Mike. So please say thank you to him as well. And the last thing I would say is Madison's still amazing. Camp Randall's incredible. The power of this brand is still ridiculous. Like this program will get better. It will get bigger. It will come back because this place is too magical for it not to. This is not Ames. This is not Kinnick. This is not East Lansing. This is Madison. Madison matters, and it's going to get better because this place is magical. On Wisconsin.
Let's go.
All right, guys. We're going to end it there. Thank you guys so much as always. And more content from all of us coming up for sure.